The phone call from tomorrow. At 11:47 p.m., Ethan received a phone call from his own number. He stared at the screen. Incoming call. Ethan. He almost ignored it. Then curiosity won. Hello? For several seconds, there was only breathing. Then a man's voice whispered, Ethan. Listen carefully. Ethan froze. The voice sounded exactly like his. Who is this? You. Ethan laughed nervously. Very funny. Tomorrow morning, you'll leave your apartment at 8:10. At 8:24, you'll cross Pine Street. Okay, enough. Don't cross the street. Ethan hung up. Someone was messing with him. The next morning, he left his apartment and checked his phone. 8:10 a.m. He stopped. At 8:24, Ethan reached Pine Street. The light turned green. He almost stepped forward, but remembered the call. A second later, a truck flew through the red light and smashed into another car. If Ethan had crossed, he would have been directly in its path. That night, at exactly 11:47, his phone rang. Incoming call. Ethan, how did you know? The voice replied, tomorrow, don't go to work. Why? Just don't, Ethan listened. The next day, a gas leak forced everyone to evacuate his workplace. Now Ethan knew the calls were real. Every night at 11:47, another warning came. Call your sister. Don't invest tomorrow. Don't trust Michael. Don't get on that flight. Every warning came true. Months passed. Eventually, Ethan stopped making decisions himself. He simply waited for the calls. Then one night, 11:47, his phone rang, but this time the voice sounded terrified. Ethan, this is the last call. What? Leave your apartment right now. Ethan grabbed his jacket, then stopped. No. Silence. Tell me who you really are. I already told you. You're me? Yes. From when? The caller hesitated. 20 years from now. Ethan sat down. How are you calling me? 20 years from now, I found a way to send a signal into the past. So you've been changing my life? I've been saving it? Why? The older Ethan became quiet. Because my life is terrible. I lost people, made mistakes, ruined relationships. I spent 20 years wishing I could start again. So you're using me to fix everything? Our life. Ethan shook his head. You haven't saved me. What? I don't make decisions anymore. I'm afraid to do anything without waiting for you. Ethan, leave the apartment. Tell me why. The older Ethan's voice shook. At midnight, there's going to be a fire. Ethan looked at the clock. 11:55 p.m. He grabbed his keys. Then he heard something through the phone. A fire alarm. But it wasn't coming from his apartment. It was coming from the future. What's happening to you? The older Ethan whispered. Every time I change your past, my present changes too. Ethan suddenly understood. If I leave tonight, what happens to you? I don't know. 11:57. Then why keep doing this? Because I wanted you to have the perfect life. Ethan thought about the past few months. He had avoided mistakes, avoided risks, avoided pain, but he'd also stopped living. 11:59. Ethan asked one final question. Are you happy? The older Ethan said nothing. That silence was enough. Ethan walked toward the door. Before hanging up, the older Ethan whispered, I'm sorry. For what? For making you afraid of tomorrow. The call disconnected. Ethan ran outside. Seconds later, smoke poured from his apartment building. He survived. But the phone never rang again. Years passed. Ethan made mistakes, took risks, trusted the wrong people. But he also fell in love, traveled, laughed, and lived without knowing what tomorrow would bring. Exactly 20 years later, Ethan sat in front of an experimental communications device. The screen read, Signal can be sent to 20 years ago. The clock changed. 11:47 p.m. Ethan stared at the machine. For a moment, he considered making the call. Then he smiled and turned it off, because he finally understood. A perfect life isn't a life without mistakes. It's a life you are allowed to choose for yourself.